Hey, what's going on, guys? The Beldam is back for a brand new video. And this is going to be a I just watched for the first time review. I think that's what I'm going to call this series from now on. I just did it for... I just reviewed Shocker, I think a month ago. That was a first time watch. And today's review movie is also going to be a first time watch. So, let me know what you think of that title in the comments. Or just call this series Movies I Just Watched for first time watches or something like that. Or something better, I don't know. But I'm going to be talking about the 1979 cult movie. Is it considered a cult movie now? Whatever, I'm going to call it a cult movie. It's Tourist Trap from 1979. So, if you've seen other reviews for this movie, you probably know a lot of everything, almost everything about it. But this is just my take on it. This movie was so different. This is a slasher movie. That's PG. That doesn't show very little. It doesn't shows very little gore, and it has one of the most bizarre and interesting killers I've ever seen in a horror movie. And what the basic premise is, it's about a group of kids going on a road trip somewhere, and they have car trouble. So, and they come across this little lack of, first literal tourist trap attraction. Those little roadside attractions that you see, off the main freeways and stuff like that. You know, kind of like the Mystery Shack from Gravity Falls, or even, what the heck was that name of it? Captain Spaulding's Museum of the Monsters and Madmen, stuff like that, stuff like those tacky roadside attractions you'll see. But to be fair, the Captain Spaulding's is one that I would actually really want to visit, because what we see in the movie is that was pretty fucking dope. But that's a different time. That's for a different time. But anyways, I come across this little tourist trap, and they meet this really bizarre guy called Mr. Slauson. Mr. Slauson is so interesting. People that run I think people who run these kind of little offside road attraction things, they're some of the most interesting people you will encounter, because they don't really have that many people to talk to. At least that's what I gather. They're kind of just on their own. So, they're kind of not really all there. When you meet, and when they meet new people, they kind of don't know how to... And this is coming from an introvert, by the way. They don't know really how to socially interact with other people, because they're constantly by themselves. And that's kind of like what Mr. Slauson is like. He's this very kind of simple, yet he's very kind of... he's simple, but he's not idiot. He's just kind of off a little, and we later see in the movie why he's a little off. And he has this fascination with mannequins. As we learn the characters, as they learn more and more about him, we learn about him. He's kind of like Norman Bates in a sense. We learn that he has a brother, supposedly. His wife cheated on him with said brother. and uh, his brother and him, I guess, abduct people and turn them into mannequins. How they do that is they they take them and they put plaster on their face, like hot plaster, and they cover almost every orifice so they can't breathe, and their heart eventually explodes from suffocation. And it's all shown in this very, very uncomfortable scene. My God, this scene is... The scene has no gore in it. There's no blood, but it's one of the most uncomfortable things you could ever see. He's literally got this girl, this poor woman, strapped to a table, and as he puts the plaster on her face, he's taking pleasure in this. And he seeks pleasure in it. And you don't see blood, but you see this girl, like, struggling to breathe, and her heart literally doesn't just blow out of her chest like a chest burster, but she does like these struggling convulsions, like that, and then eventually she just dies. She just exhales and dies. And that scene is just so... the scene is so frightening. And it's so psychologically, like, frightening, if you know what I mean. Like, oh my God. I haven't even gotten to, like, the other frightening parts of this movie. This guy... if you guys, like, watch reviews of this movie, or if you've seen this movie, he has, like... Mr. Slauson has telekinetic powers. He moves things, like Carrie style. This movie came out 3 years after Carrie was released, so... yeah, there's a lot of imagery in this movie where he can make he has like a room full of mannequins, and these things are so goddamn creepy. Like, the camera will just sit on their faces for like a second, and if you blink, you literally see their eyes move. Just like follow them. Just like picture that. Just like... Their heads don't turn, but their eyes just follow them everywhere. And it's just... That's just so unnerving. It's... I never found mannequins creepy. No, I never found them creepy, but I've always been, like, a little creeped out by dolls and dummies and stuff like that. Primarily because, in part, thanks to Slappy from the dummy from Goosebumps. That's partially, especially seeing that, watching the episode Bride of the Living Dummy as a kid a lot. And if you've seen the end of that episode, you will know why. But we find out that Mr. Slauson, I guess, never had a brother. He was the one who was donning this mask, this kind of doll-like mask, and he was the one abducting people and turning them into his own mannequins for his collection. And this whole sequence at the end where he has, like, the final girl, you see, like, images of, like, the mannequins just, like, standing over these girls, just, like, you could hear them giggling and laughing, and eventually, you see one he's dancing with one at the end of the movie, and the mannequin itself comes to life. It becomes a real person. He's dancing with it, and it just becomes a real person. Like, how the hell does that work? Like, what are we seeing here? This is the most bizarre... This is like one of the most bizarre slashers I've ever watched. Man. It's just so strange. Like, I haven't seen a ton of, like, slashers, like, that go this bonkers, but the last one I can remember watching that goes this insane was Silent Night, Deadly Night 5. It's just so freaking bizarre and weird, and I love weird stuff. Don't get me wrong, I love this kind of stuff. I'd rather have this stuff than just like than a boring movie. It's like, at least it's like something it's something I've never seen before, and I love it. It's so weird yet so unique. Yeah, I don't know what kind of review this is, but I'm just giving out my thoughts on this whole movie. I thought I had it all figured out when the movie started. It's like, okay, this movie's gonna go one way, and then it's gonna just be your average, like, forgettable slasher. No, this movie does not. This movie is anything but forgettable. It really is. It really is not. It really isn't. Now, is it it's not a perfect movie. Well, it's definitely has some creepy imagery. Someone could see it as kind of silly or outdated in terms of scares, but I think it's just visually haunting. Primarily for the mannequin stuff. But, yeah. I feel like I want to say something else about it, too. Do I have any more thoughts on it? Oh yeah, I did. I might as well just mention that the House of Wax remake from 2005 is basically kind of I want to say loose remake of Tourist Trap. Even though the movie it's called House of Wax, you would think it's from the Vincent Price movie, but even though the remake has elements of that, this is more of a remake of Tourist Trap. And I'm not even mad about it, because I really liked this movie, and I loved House of Wax. I think it's a solid slasher, and I don't get the hate for it. No, that's not true. I do know why people hate it. It's because of Paris Hilton's in it. Boo-hoo. Get over it. Just get over it. It's a good movie. Stop bitching about it. Anyway, if I were to give this movie, I'm going to give this movie a rating of Tourist Trap. I would give it a 3.5 out of 5. I really like this movie, so much so I actually got it. I bought it. I don't have it with me right now, I just ordered it today. But when I do get it, when it arrives, I will definitely rewatch it. So anyways, yeah. Thank you for watching this review of the movie. I appreciate you all watching and commenting. Let me know what you think of the movie, and I will talk to you soon in a new video.